Councilmember Harris? They're calling him right now. So.
Okay.
Councilmember Posted?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation tonight will be led by Reverend Sarah Oglesby Dunnigan from the Valley Unitarian Universalist Congregation. And our Pledge of Allegiance, closing us out for the year, will be Councilmember Encinas.
Whether you've recently celebrated Diwali or beginning the observances of Hanukkah or Bodhi Day, or you're preparing for a solstice, Christmas, or Kwanzaa celebration, let this season be a time in that each of us might hear the voice of the Holy calling us to the work of community, to care for each other with kindness and patience, to be present to the challenges each of us face, whether they are spiritual, financial, familial, or personal, to look for opportunities to make the community and this planet a place where all of us may lead whole lives, where our basic human needs are met and our humanity is honored. For this we pray, and while each of us may name the holy differently, or even perhaps celebrate important religious holidays another time of year, may we know and serve the love and possibility that comes to us in this season with humility and courage. Blessed be, amen, and may it be so.
Amen. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Councilmember. Council, we had opportunity on Monday to look at our consent agenda. There are 30 plus items on there. Would anyone care to make a motion to approve?
Mayor.
Councilmember Stewart.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda for December 7th, items 1 through 33.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor.
Mayor.
I believe one, Councilmember Encinas.
Due to a conflict of interest, I will not be voting on item number 21.
Very good. So, Clerk, please note his recusal on that particular one.
Mayor.
Council, any
Mayor.
quick comments related? Yes.
I want to thank City Manager and City Attorney for working with me this week on getting this language in here on item 21. Certainly appreciate it. And I believe the council members all had a chance to look at it. So thank you very much.
Mayor.
Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you. And I want to thank Vice Mayor Orlando for bringing that forward. I mean, it's a nice little catch, not little, it's kind of a big deal, but it's ensuring that we have visibility when we're doing eminent domain, things like that is important. And that as a group, we are cognizant of protecting our neighbors. So it's good that you brought that forward. So thank you for doing that.
All right, Council, please vote.
Councilmember Ellis?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously with Councilmember Encinas declaring a conflict of interest on item 21.
All right, thank you so much. Next on our agenda tonight is a public hearing regarding our system development fee. And that would be Matt.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Privileged to be here with you tonight to talk about some of our updates to system development fees, the land use assumptions, and the infrastructure improvement plan. As I was preparing for tonight, I was looking up some of the kind of known humorous anecdotes about assumptions, and I decided to forego some of those. But there was one interesting fact that I found, and that's that there are two types of people in this world: those that can make an assumption based on a previous statement. All right, as we get ready for our agenda here, tonight we'll be talking about our system development fee background, our program requirements, some fee categories and service areas, our land use assumptions, infrastructure improvement plan, some of the public outreach that we've been able to accomplish, and our remaining project timeline. So first off, we want to talk about why system development fees and what they are used for and useful for. First of all, the city of Chandler is the first in Arizona to implement a full range of system development fee or impact fees. And that was done in 1997. And really the intent of that was to ensure that growth can pay for growth, so that other residents of Chandler that are existing residents aren't paying for the new infrastructure required for new residents moving in. So these development fees were implemented for that growth-related infrastructure, and those fees were paid by the developers at the time of permitting. Now, if not for system development fees, Chandler would have had to find some additional alternative revenue sources. For example, we could have used bonds, related taxes, increase in taxes to fund the needed infrastructure citywide as we grew and continue to grow. So SDFs have allowed the city of Chandler to keep taxes low over the years. They've provided a capital funding source in lieu of selling bonds. And then to the far right are some examples of things we've been able to accomplish over the last many years utilizing system development fees. So arterial street improvements, fire stations, police facilities, libraries, parks, utility projects, and then there's a list underneath of several of the different things, including, if you notice, fire stations 2 through 11. So the majority of fire stations throughout the city of Chandler were built utilizing system development fees. Water mains, wells, other infrastructure, major arterial streets, and widenings. So they've been very useful throughout the years to ensure that we have good infrastructure throughout the city. A little background on system development fees. This process is governed by Arizona revised statute. The developers pay these fees during the building permit issuance process. And this is one-time funding that's for growth-related capital infrastructure. And there are some specific provisions that the state statute says that we cannot use these funds for. They cannot be used to fund repairs or operations and maintenance of existing infrastructure. They cannot be used for capital that is not directly attributed to growth. And they must be for infrastructure that's a necessary public service and that directly provides a beneficial use to the development. The revised statute also requires us to do 3 key items, depending on which item, how frequently we have to do them. The first is to complete a land use assumption and infrastructure improvement plan report as a precursor to any fee updates based on methodology outlined in state statute. This is required to be completed every 5 years, and for us, legally required by January of 2024. The last land use assumption and IIP adoption was in January of 2019. It includes an updated fee schedule, and there's public outreach and council approval processes dictated. We also, on an annual basis, must prepare an annual report and post that online, which we have done since inception of the SDFs. We also complete a biennial audit. Every 2 years, we bring forward the results of that audit to mayor and council, and the results are presented in a public hearing. They're also posted online as well. It's interesting to note the first two, the actual report that we're updating and talking about tonight and the biennial audit, they must be prepared by a qualified professional. So it's not city staff that prepares those. It's an outside consultant firm that prepares those for us, or our auditors, citywide auditors. For the fee categories that the city of Chandler has, we have several fees which are charged by what's called equivalent dwelling units, or EDUs, or square footage, depending on the permit type. And those include our arterial streets, parks, for which we have 3 service areas, fire, police, and public buildings. And then there are SDFs, which are by meter size for water, wastewater, and reclaimed water. Again, these are all paid for when the building permit is issued. It's important to note that for most of those fees, let me go back to that slide, most of those fees, there's only one area or service area, and that's the entire city. But for 2 of them, there are unique service areas where if you're pulling a permit in those areas, you're only charged those fees if your permit is in that area. So for arterial streets, you'll see here the brown rust-colored area, that's the area in which the arterial streets system development fee would be applied. We do have some remaining projects for our arterial streets, and those are indicated in the blue lines. We have Alma School Road, and we have, let me get my list because I can't see it on there. So Alma School Road from Germain to Queen Creek, and from Fry to Pecos, Chandler Heights Road from Gilbert to Val Vista, and Lindsay Road from Ocotillo to Hunt Highway. For our parks, we have 3 service areas in parks. We have the northwest, northeast, and southeast. And these were really the purpose of having 3 different service areas for this specific SDF is to allow for smaller parks, which benefit those in a specific geographic region, to have those in that geographic region pay for those parks. So we currently do not have any future parks in the northwest or northeast service areas, but we do have 2 remaining parks in the southeast service area. We have the Mesquite Groves Park and Lantana Ranch. For our land use assumptions, the update goes through and looks at the general plan, any updates to our general plan, any zoning changes, and any development patterns, and incorporates those trends into the land use assumptions. It also includes any EDUs, which include housing units and non-residential square foot, which are updated based on city projections. And then it looks at a build out of our EDUs, equivalent dwelling units. Those are updated based on the Maricopa Association of Governments development projections. So all of that information is updated throughout the report and presented to Mayor and Council through this report process. Here's a look at some of those assumptions that were changed from the 2018 report to the 2022 report. The existing average equivalent dwelling units has increased. We've seen an increase to the build-out average EDUs, an increase to existing square footage on non-residential, and a decrease in our build-out square footage for non-residential. On our land use assumptions for our arterial streets, we have also seen an increase to our existing EDUs for residential, an increase to our build-out average EDUs for residential, an increase to existing square footage for non-residential, and a flat build-out square footage for non-residential. Also included in this update is the infrastructure improvement plan. We look at 3 key areas when we're updating the IIP. First, we update any remaining growth projects and their related costs. So the street projects and the park projects that I identified earlier as being part of this IIP, those costs have been increased to show the true costs that we would anticipate moving forward on those projects. We also update our 10-year revenue forecast and estimated financial need for each category. And we update any outstanding debt for each category so we can make our calculations. Again, in that green box, we do talk about some of our future growth projects for parks and for streets. And all other categories besides parks and streets are simply collecting fees to repay debt. When we talk about SDF debt, it's important to note that this is internal debt. This is debt that's owed within the city, where we have funded capital projects in some other method, whether it be cash funding or bond funding, in order to build those projects due to lack of revenue from the SDF funds. And those SDF funds, when they come in through build out, will be utilized to pay back the outstanding debt. In total, we have about $329.2 million worth of outstanding SDF debt that will be collected through build out of the city of Chandler. Through state statute, we are required to have public outreach throughout this process, including this hearing this evening. But we've also done a public outreach process where we held stakeholder meetings in October, which included representation from each development category. We sent notifications that this meeting was happening, and we had people both in person and online. Included was a presentation and the updated LUA IIP report, which is also available online. There was one request for a follow-up meeting with the Central Arizona Home Builders Association, which we also held in October, and that meeting went well. From a project timeline, we are currently have completed both the public outreach and a work session with Mayor and Council related to this subject. Tonight, we have the public hearing on the LUA and IIP report. That report is scheduled for adoption to be brought forth to Mayor and Council in January, on January 11th. With that adoption would also be the adoption of a notice of intent to modify SDF fees, which as of this report updates those fees based on all of the new data that flowed into the report. That would also be January 11th. There would be a public hearing on the proposed fees in February and the first read of an ordinance that would change the city code for those fees. And then final adoption would be in April, and these new fees would be effective in July. And with that, Mayor and Council, I'll be willing to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Matt, for the great presentation. Council, any questions or discussion? Vice Mayor.
Yeah, Matt, we just want to, don't want to leave any doubt in those that are watching this or get the feedback that the 392 million is the internal budget sheet we're keeping in regards to these impact fees. And according to the plan, according to where we do this, which we've been doing for the last 26 years, the last permit that is pulled in the city, I think that's the word you used the other day, the last permit that's pulled in the city will, the zero balance the fund, correct?
Yeah, through the Mayor, Vice Mayor, that's absolutely correct. The intent of why we do these updates is to ensure that as we're pulling all of those permits, remaining permits that are left, by the time that last permit is pulled, all the debt and all the current needs for funding have all been met.
And if you look at the tables in the book, I think we were looking at this the other night, you'll see over the time period of frame where this debt is then absorbed and then obviously is zero balance.
Yeah, correct.
Correct. All right. And this is, another thing I want to emphasize, this is state statute for these updates, correct?
Yeah, through the Mayor, Vice Mayor, the state requires us to have an update at least every 5 years.
Which is fine. I mean, but the point I'm trying to make is it's a robust process that we have to get an outside consultant to make sure that everything is that we're saying we're publishing, we're saying we could do based upon these assumptions.
Correct.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
I think some of the highlights for me, just for the audience to know too, is that this is only considered debt on what is a benefit to our community that is not existing. So there's any improvements to parks or to other city buildings or our libraries, which we have no intention at this point of building anymore, those are not included in those. And this really allows, if someone shows up now for a development, they really enter into to pay for something that someone else and the city previously paid for, hence the debt that Vice Mayor mentioned. So it really is an equitable way of allowing growth to pay for itself and to making sure that those who have paid in and for different areas, that they don't pay twice, hence the parks and the streets separation as well, where we've completed this out. So Council, other questions or comments? Seeing none. Next part on our public hearing is discussion from the audience. Is there any questions or comments from the audience related to our public hearing of system development fees? Seeing none, I'd like to close our public hearing. Thank you, staff. Next on our agenda tonight is unscheduled public appearances. I have 3 cards in front of me, and I'm going to just call them in the order that I received them. The first is from Mr. Hussein. When you come up, you have up to 3 minutes to share your thoughts or concerns. The light will be green for 2.5 minutes. When that light turns yellow, please wrap up your comments and then end your comments when the light turns red. Mr. Hussein, your name and address for the record.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Taha Hussain. I'm a resident of Chandler for about 20 years. This is the 4th time I'm appearing for the council for the same case. Chandler police falsely arrested me in front of my children, charged me with horse neglect and animal cruelty, 7 felony counts, dragged me through court for 2 years, and closed my business, took my travel rights, traumatized my whole family. August 2021, Chandler police raided my house in violation of search warrant. The detective lied about everything on the initial report, seized my children's horses, which were healthy horses, and then the state did not file any charges against me. September 2021, City of Chandler sued me for the cost of their misadventure. City magistrate denied their request. I counterclaimed for the cost of my horses, which city attorney said they will pay, and then the city risk management department declined to pay. January of 2022, City of Chandler prepared a 160-page report of lies, false, fabricated information with replaced horse and asked the county to prosecute me. 2 years of court trips. County attorney tried 6 times to get me to accept the charges, and they will dismiss the case. Then downgraded my charges from felony to misdemeanor. The state attorney said, give something and we'll give you something. The judge said it's the best offer. It's a very good offer. I filed 7 petitions myself to the court for dismissal of the case, pointing out every single lie that was presented by the city of Chandler, replacement of evidence, planting of evidence, and all the false accusations. Finally, May of 2023, this year, the county attorney withdrew the case. This is a criminal conduct on the Chandler police. I am not accusing of the whole Chandler department. Maybe it could be 1 or 2 people. We all say there's bad apples everywhere. And seems like I've been here 4 times requesting an investigation from the city of Chandler. Nobody has ever called me. I'm not even sure if there is any investigation done on this particular issue. I asked for nothing happened. Seems like the mayor, he doesn't care. But at least the vice mayor, Matt Orlando, he offered to help, but I'm not sure if he can help in any case. I accept it's okay for the police to criminalize. I gave up on the idea of getting an investigation. I filed a case for financial compensation, and it was dismissed on the financial grounds. I will file again with legal counsel. All I want now is to just walk away from here and compensate me financially for all the heartache you've given me for stealing my horses, and I'll just walk away. So I am requesting one more time to the council, for the benefit of the general public, see if there needs to be an investigation in the police department for misconduct. And I will present every single piece of evidence that the Chandler police misrepresented and falsified. And if you don't care, just pay me and I'll go away. That's all I care. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. And to our audience and speakers, we cannot comment on any of these because this is unscheduled public appearance. But again, the city manager, I always ask you to make sure that if there's follow-up to be had, that make sure that it is and get back to us. Our next unscheduled public appearance is Tom Furstel, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Again, sir, you've got 3 minutes. State your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Tom Furstel, 4923 West Gale Drive, Chandler, Arizona. Thank you for your time today. I just wanted to take this opportunity briefly to kind of explain what me and my family have been going through for the past 10 days. A loud soil vapor extraction unit was placed at 4980 West Ray Road, approximately 40 feet from our property line and near a playground where children play at the Maxwell Daycare Center there in the same mercantile area. It was turned on November 27th. This was apparently to clean up a mess left behind by the now defunct Avalon Dry Cleaners located at suite number 14 that is apparently polluting the soil and contaminating our groundwater. I called the mayor's office to get some information and complain about the noise. I was referred to environmental. The gentleman I spoke to there informed me that they had received another complaint from a resident. He gave me a lot of information, including the number to the Arizona Department of Environmental Control and a Mitch Williams with Partner Engineering and Science Incorporated, who was the contractor running this machine. I spoke to Mitch Williams and was told that they were taking steps to quiet down the unit. I asked if it could be moved. He told me no. I asked if it could be turned off until it could be muffled, as I suffer from migraines. I was told I can't do that by Mr. Williams. The only solution that we were able to work together was they would turn it off at night, as they wanted to run this unit 24 hours, 7 days a week for who knows how long. I also contacted my state senator for district number 12, Senator Epstein's office, and the Arizona Department of Environmental Control Quality to file a complaint. The reply from ADQ was to refer, the state doesn't do noise complaints, and refer me back to the city of Chandler PD. I spoke to Chandler PD's several officers. They were very empathetic to my situation, but unfortunately at the end of the conversations, I came away with the feeling that the best I could hope for, and it wasn't even guaranteed, was that a small fine would be levied against Henderson Beltway, the property owner. The loud noise continued through the week, causing me and my family anxiety and mental duress. You could hear it through the whole house with doors and windows shut, and we could not stand to even go in our own backyard. We felt like prisoners in our own house. My wife is especially sensitive to loud noises, as she was home when there was a large gas explosion in the same mercantile area about a year and a half ago, I believe it was, and she's now very jumpy when she hears loud noises. Continuing to investigate in search of some relief, I called Development Services on Friday, December 1st. I wanted to see the site plan as to how this could be located so close to our house. Development Services was very, very helpful, and we do have some inspectors coming out to view this, to see what's going on. I just want to continue to work with the city. The state also, I'm going to reach back to, they shouldn't just be referring me back to police department. They should be letting us know. A lot of people see this permit from the state of Arizona, think everything's on the up and up, to check and make sure that they've filed the sufficient paperwork with the city of Chandler. And I appreciate your time very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, city manager, see what, if there is some additional muffling or whatever that we can put leverage on to alleviate this situation. Thank you. Our last speaker card is from Patricia Evans. Again, Ms. Evans, you have up to 3 minutes to share your thoughts and state your name and address for the record when you are at the mic.
Good evening, council members and mayor. Thank you for the opportunity for giving me to speak. I'm going to speak on aerial surveillance and drones and fixed wing surveillance aircraft, all expensive. Has played a role in my air stalking, hoovering over by my home and communities. And we should take a hard look and benefits and the costs of aerial surveillance. And this is abuse. This has happened to me 20 times, where aerial surveillance of hovering around my home, above my home, 24/7. And I'm being gang stalked by different people. If I go to Fry's and Macy's, there's 4 or 5 people taking pictures. And I don't know what this is all about, but the aerial surveillance and drones have caused me and my husband anxiety and distress. And this past Tuesday at 7:30, a helicopter scraped my roof. I don't know what's going on, and I need help to investigate, see what this is all about. But the gang stalking has been going on with me for the past 6 months in aerial surveillance and drones and fixed wing surveillance aircraft. Is 24/7. I went to Walmart today, Macy's, and an aircraft followed me all the way to Macy's, back to Walmart. I don't know what this is all about, and this is 24/7. So I don't know if anyone has heard about aerial surveillance and gang stalking. It's real here in South Chandler. And I live at 4673 East Cherry Hills Drive, Sun Groves area.
Thank you. Again, I don't know if,
I'm just making you aware.
okay.
Mayor.
Are you done then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Chief, please make sure that if there's areas that she can file a complaint that would get to the proper authorities that she's heard, and whatever we can do with that, that would be quite helpful. Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, we talked a little bit a few months ago about a policy around drones. Do you know where that is in progress as far as?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Stewart, we've been taking a look and updating our own internal drone policies for city-owned drones. We do not have that same level of control over non-city drones, so we'll have to kind of determine what exactly is going on in this situation.
Okay, thank you.
All right. That concludes our speaker cards for tonight. Next on our agenda is current events, comments from council, which I'll start. We have our Golden Neighbors holiday celebration. That's going to be December 14th from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Chandler Community Center. Residents can contribute a gift to a Golden Neighbor through Tuesday, December 12th, or directly from the event's Amazon wish list. To learn more about that, you can visit chandleraz.gov/Golden Neighbors for details. Secondly, the Exchange Club of Chandler is hosting a Wreaths Across America event. They've been doing this for multiple years at the Valley of the Sun Cemetery to honor our veterans. The event is Saturday, December 16th, starting with volunteers distributing wreaths at 9 a.m. And then there will be a brief program and ceremony at 10 a.m. As this is our last council meeting of the year, I do want to wish our community a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, and a safe and happy New Year. And council, I want to say it's been a pleasure to work with you this year, and we're gonna hit the year running next year with a lot of things happening. So, Councilmember Encinas.
There we go. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to spotlight a gathering of community recently. As neighborhood reinvestment is a very important initiative to me, I, along with a few community leaders, got the community together here in the Pueblo Viejo neighborhood, which is right here in downtown Chandler. We had a great turnout of residents. We got some great feedback and a lot of participation of the neighborhood, listening about their concerns, their issues, and the things that they like in this area. And I want to thank especially the neighbors that came out for participating in this and being a voice in their neighborhood. I want to thank the council members that were able to attend, Councilmember Harris and Councilmember Ellis, for being there. And also I want to thank our city manager and our staff that have already started working with these residents to solve some issues and also to educate and to activate this neighborhood for their future. And as well, I just want to say, as wrapping up my first year on council, it has been a pleasure working with you guys. It has flown by so quickly. It went by so fast. I'm ready for 2024. And I want to wish all of our residents here in Chandler a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and that our blessings continue in 2024. So thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Mayor, I want to wish everyone happy holiday as well. And I just want to compliment you on that jacket. Very few people could pull that off. I know I couldn't, but you pulled it off very well. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. You'll see it again around St. Patrick's Day.
Okay,
perhaps.
fair enough.
Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. I have to concur. I mean, that's a great jacket, a great tie, Vice Mayor. I mean, you guys pulled it all out. I think I was saying to somebody earlier, I can't believe it's already the 7th and Christmas is right around the corner. And of course, I have zero shopping done, but that's pretty typical until the 24th. So, I had the pleasure of representing Chandler Mayor and Council at the ASU Polytechnic grand opening and groundbreaking this week. It's a huge campus expansion for them, and it'll be turning out. Now it's turning out about 6,000 engineers a year, and anything from aviation to robotics to cyber manufacturing to semiconductor manufacturing, energy sector. But in the next few years, they'll be turning out another 15,000 students a year, which is absolutely incredible. And I think what's important about that is we've got some amazing employers here in our area. And as Dr. Crow said during the groundbreaking, those students will be solving problems that we have today in the future. And we need to continue to be endorsers of higher education in general, because again, those are important things that need to be done. So we're excited about that grand opening. And then I think I had another comment about something that's extremely important to Chandler. We were recently, I'm looking for my notes here. Oh, it's on the backside. I usually don't have 2 pages of notes. Thanks, Matt. Chandler is the first and only city to receive AAA ratings on our excise tax revenue bonds from all 3 credit rating agencies. And so what that means is that when we go out and build infrastructure for water, wastewater, and things like that, when we borrow that money, we're borrowing at an extremely low rate. And thanks to our federally induced inflation right now, it's actually lower than the rate of inflation. So it doesn't cost us anything to borrow the money, and we can use that for projects. So that's great. So I want to commend our finance staff, Dawn and your team, and everybody else on the team for making that happen year after year after year. So thanks very much. And to be the only one in Arizona, that's pretty good. Yeah, thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Poston.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I would like to join everyone in wishing all of Chandler happy holidays. And as you are celebrating, please remember to shop Chandler and shop locally. I actually had the opportunity to interview on my show the general manager at the Chandler Fashion Center, along with the small business owner, kind of getting both sides of that coin. And the small business owner owns Memento Cafe, a very small coffee shop, very personal. Both of those are important. So we've got everything you need. That is so important to help your city do the things that they do for you, for your parks, the streets, all of those things. So when you are out shopping on the 24th, council member, we will not see you in any other city. And again, especially for the fact that these are the businesses that employ our kids, that employ our families. The small business especially support us in so many ways. I have a special place in my heart for small businesses because they are so much a part of giving back in the fabric of the community. So just that little reminder, just come on across the border to Chandler. Don't stop for your groceries or gas anywhere else. But again, wishing you all a happy holidays. And as I'm finishing up my first year too, I cannot believe it's been a year. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Josh, and all the city staff for all the support and information that you have provided us, and my fellow council members for being so supportive and helpful when I needed it. It has flown by, and here's to 2024. Thank you.
Very good. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Members of Council. Wanted to also wish you all a happy holidays. It has been a wonderful 2023. And on behalf of staff, we tremendously appreciate the vision and leadership that you bring here to Chandler. We're looking forward to a very successful 2024 as well. And also wanted in particular to mention tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah, Chag Sameach to all of you. And again, we'll look forward to a wonderful holiday season and a bright 2024. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. With that, close out our meeting.
Good night.